would like to wish everyone good morning. Today is the second day of our teaching. Starting yesterday morning, I have been describing how to do the practice of the Avalokiteshvara sadhana, all-pervading benefit of beings. I spoke in brief about how to do the visualization and so forth from the beginning. So now we have come to the section on reciting the mantra recitation. The mantra is the well-known six-syllable mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. It is very well known. For example, in Tibet, the mantra is extremely widespread. Parents will teach even 1 or 2-year-old toddlers who have not yet learned how to speak to say Om Mani Padme Hum. In this way, it is an extremely widespread practice. Generally, of course, Om Mani Padme Hum belongs to the secret mantra. It is a secret mantra practice, so in actuality, it is a secret, profound pith instruction. Since it is a secret mantra, it ought to be practiced in secret, hidden from view. However, as I said yesterday, Tibet is the realm of Avalokiteshvara's disciples. It is the country he has taken on as his own. So this is why all Tibetans, regardless of whether they have received the empowerment for the six-syllable mantras or not, recite the mantra. And this is the custom, and from one perspective, it is because everyone has such great belief in noble Avalokiteshvara, and also because Tibet is the realm of his disciples. In terms of the history, the 5th Karmapa Deshin Shakpa traveled to China during the reign of Emperor Yongle of the Ming Dynasty. He went to Nanjing in China, and at that time there was a saying that the Karmapa was an emanation of Avalokiteshvara. So the tradition was that when one prayed to the Karmapa, supplicated him, or recited his name mantra, one would recite Om Mani Padme Hum. At that time, Om Mani Padme Hum was not very well known in China. So the Karmapa was a great Lama who visited China, and the supplication or name mantra for him was to recite Om Mani Padme Hum. And so very many people recited Om Mani Padme Hum, and this became a very widespread practice. And at that time, even those who had little faith in the secret mantra, especially the followers of Confucianism, would say that it is not true Buddha Dharma. They said it's just a false tradition that had come from the monks and lamas from the West, that is, Tibet. So that was one situation that occurred. Anyway, at that time, people did not recite Karmapa Chinna. Later, Karmapa Chinna became very well known as the name mantra of the Karmapa. But at that time, it was Om Mani Padme Hum. Now, so that was a little bit of a digression here. In any case, later, even in China, Om Mani Padme Hum became very well known. The 6 syllables of the secret mantra, if we look at them from one perspective, are the name of noble Avalokiteshvara. It is a name mantra. So from one angle, it is the name mantra of Noble Avalokiteshvara. From another perspective, Noble Avalokiteshvara is a bodhisattva who embodies the compassion of all the Buddhas and bodhisattvas combined into one. So these are the words of the truth, of him being the union of all their activity and blessing, the union of their activity, all heaped together. So they are the words of power, the words of truth. They're powerful words, the power of truth. Since he has such inconceivable compassion and power, these are the words of that truth. They are the mantra of that. And so it is said that for this reason they are extremely beneficial. And so this mantra of Avalokiteshvara is said to have extremely great benefits. Normally, when we talk about the benefits, it is said that there are 6 sets of 6 benefits. So when we say that there are 6 benefits, there are 6 syllables, and each syllable has 6 benefits. And in this way, the 6 benefits of each are explained as being in 6 sets. So the first set of 6 is that they completely perfect the 6 transcendences. So the syllable Om completely perfects transcendent generosity. Ma completely perfects transcending discipline. And Ni completely perfects transcendent patience. Bud completely perfects transcendent diligence. Me completely perfects transcendent jhana. And Hum completely perfects transcendent prajna. So these 6 syllables fulfill the power or meaning of the 6 transcendences. Now the second set of 6 is the capacity to purify the sufferings of the 6 realms. So later I will describe the visualization for purifying suffering. In brief, the way it purifies the suffering of the 6 realms is that Om purifies the sufferings of the God realm, Ma purifies the suffering of the demigods, Ni purifies the sufferings of the human realms, Pud purifies the suffering of the hungry ghosts, Me purifies the sufferings of the animals, and Hum purifies the sufferings of the hells. Thus, in terms of removing the sufferings of the 6 realms, there is a set of 6 benefits. Now, the third set of 6 benefits is the supreme and ordinary siddhis. This is being the source of the supreme and ordinary siddhis, or the worldly and supramundane siddhis. So here, Om gives the supreme siddhi, Ma gives the ordinary siddhis, Ni gives the siddhi of pacifying illness, durns, and obstacles, Pud gives the siddhi of increasing life, glory, and merit, Me gives the siddhi of gaining power over the 3 realms, Hum gives the siddhi of subjugating enemies and obstacles. So the first Om gives the supreme siddhi. The second, Ma, gives the ordinary siddhis in general. And then the following syllables, Ni, Pud, and so forth, give the specific siddhis of pacifying, enriching, magnetizing, and destroying. So these are what they symbolize. The fourth set of 6 is the benefit of pacifying greed, hatred, delusion, and so forth, the 6 root afflictions. Om purifies delusion, Ma purifies hatred, Ni purifies stinginess, Pud purifies greed, Me purifies envy, and Hum purifies pride, as it is said. So the fifth set of 6 is the benefit of achieving the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity. So to go through them in order, through Om you achieve the qualities of the body. Through Ma, you achieve the qualities of speech. Through Ni, you achieve the qualities of mind. Through Pad, you achieve the qualities of qualities. And through Me, you achieve the qualities of activity. Then, through Hum, you achieve the complete qualities of Avalokiteshvara's body, the full siddhis of body, speech, and mind. The sixth set of 6 is connected with the paths we discuss when we talk of the 10 levels and 5 paths, the paths of accumulation, joining, seeing, meditation, no more learning. And the last one is achieving the qualities of the path of no more learning and omniscience. So we need to distinguish between the path of no more learning and the qualities of omniscience, and so that is something that we need to consider. In any case, these are the qualities that we are to achieve, it is said. And so, this being the case, these benefits, or you could perhaps say the purpose and need, fulfills many of the points of the symbolic meaning of the mantra. At this point, there are all these benefits, but merely saying that there are benefits does not make them happen. We need to know what conditions we need to achieve those benefits and how to practice. If we don't know how to practice, merely saying that we'll get these benefits does not make them happening. So here at this point, the most important thing when we are practicing the sadhana, the most important of these benefits is the benefit of purifying the places of the 6 realms. So to think of it in terms of purifying the 6 realms, there are 6 syllables. Om Mani Padme Hum. So among them we imagine that white light shines from the syllable Om and purifies all of the realms of the gods. So the gods have the suffering of dying and falling, right? So this light purifies that. Then green light shines from the green Ma. It pacifies all the suffering of conflict and strife that the demigods experience. Then from Ni there shines yellow light that frees humans from the sufferings of birth, aging, sickness, and death. Then there is the blue Pe. So that Pe shines blue light, pacifying the animal realm's suffering of being bent and dumb. Now the Me is red in color. So we imagine that the red Me shines red light that dispels the hungry ghost's suffering of hunger and thirst. Now the Hum is dark blue. And so the Hum is actually black. It's black or very dark blue. So we imagine that the sun's dark blue light that dispels the hell's suffering of heat and cold. So as you recite the mantra, you visualize yourself as Avalokiteshvara. In his heart, there are the 6 syllables Om Mani Padme Hum, facing inwards, arranged in a clockwise circle. So you can visualize like that. Or instead of specifically visualizing a mantra circle, or as you say Om Mani Padme Hum, when you say the syllable Om, you visualize that syllable. So in Avalokiteshvara's heart, a white Om appears and shines white light, purifying the sufferings of the gods. And they do it for each of them from Om, Ma, Ni, and so forth. And they do each of the realms in turn. After the Om, there's the Ma, and so forth. I think it's probably fine to visualize it in that way. Now, you might wonder how many manis you should recite. There's no single definite number. If you're doing a retreat, you divide your day into 4 sessions. This is the normal way that we do it. So 2 sessions before noon, and then 2 in the afternoon. So that's the normal way of doing it. This is the ordinary way of doing it. Or you can alternately do it in 6 sessions, 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. So you can do the practice in 6 sessions. In any case, this is how you do it in retreat. But if you're not doing a retreat and only do the practice once per day, then you do as many as you can in that one session. So there's no specific number that you have to do. At the very end, when you are finishing your session, what you should think is that from the body of the Amitabha above the crown of your crown. Remember, there is the Amitabha who is above the crown of your head. There's the Amitabha of the crown of Chenrezig's head. So light shines from his body. The light rays shine, and all the appearance and existence that we've been visualizing as the realm of Sukhavati melts into light. It all turns into light and dissolves into noble Avalokiteshvara. Then there's the Navalokiteshvara, and this means the Avalokiteshvara you've been visualizing in the sky in front of you melts into light and dissolves into you. You yourself also melt into light and then into empty clarity that is like space. You then contemplate this space-like empty clarity, the meaning of emptiness. There is no particular meditator who truly exists, nor is there an Avalokiteshvara we are meditating on that truly exists, nor is there any action of meditation. So, contemplating in this way, we rest as long as we can in equipoise, free of the 3 spheres. So this is resting a bit in the meaning of emptiness. And so this is doing resting meditation, resting in equipoise without any fixation. So this is very important. And so the reason is because the nature of the mind as it is not just something that... So everything we have been describing before is visualizing and thinking, generating a conceptual elaboration, a relative elaboration. But at the end of it all, we need to return to the Dharma nature, whatever it is like. If we do not return to it and continue with relative thoughts, we will not be able to abandon our clinging to truth. We won't be able to realize selfness, and without realizing selflessness, we cannot achieve the state of liberation. So for that reason, resting in equipoise on selflessness and emptiness is very important. For at this point, we need to meditate on the meaning of selflessness and emptiness as well as we know how. And so this is what we need to do. But I can't immediately say so much about that. I don't know how to explain much about it, and I don't think I could. But basically what you need to keep in mind is that at this point, it is important for you to think about everything you know about the meaning of emptiness and selflessness, and to rest in equipoise on that meaning. I think that this is a critical point. So as I have just explained, many different benefits of the reciting the 6-syllable mantra, Noble Avalokiteshvara. So now, whether we will get those benefits as they are described in the texts or not, the point of that comes down to, it is as it said, phenomena are all conditional and rest upon the tip of our intentions. Whatever aspiration you make, its right result will be accomplished. Now, in our philosophical texts, as well as in the pith instructions of the great masters, it is said that the most important point is that the result will occur according to the wishes or interests or motivation, however they are. So whatever plan we have and whatever action we do, the foremost thing is how we are initially thinking about it, what aim we have set ourselves upon, and the plans we have made. Due to those, the result will come in accordance with the plans we have initially laid. So the way the result turns out depends upon initially how we set our motivation, lay our plans, and think. For that reason, when we are practicing Dharma, even if we're only doing a single session, before we begin that session, we are thinking, how we are thinking and what plans we have for our practice are extremely important. If our thinking and our plans are solely plans for this life, the benefits can only be benefits for this lifetime. It will be difficult for there to be any result in a future lifetime. So for that reason, the three types of people that are taught in the teachings of the stages of the path of the Kadampa tradition are extremely important. The lesser type of person means, first of all, someone who thinks about avoiding the suffering of the three lower realms in the next life. They don't have any other aim, no other great purpose, such as liberation or omniscience. If you think to yourself that it would be enough to avoid the suffering of the three lower realms, the hells, hungry ghosts, and animals, in the next life, that would be fine. Then the result will only be to avoid the suffering of the three realms in your next life. You will not achieve any greater result. The middling type of person is someone who seeks out liberation. They see the three realms of samsara as suffering by nature and develop the wish to be liberated from them. People who think and make their plans in this way are what we call the middling type of people. So if that is how you think, you can only achieve the result that the middling type of people achieve. Now, if you must achieve Buddhahood, if you must achieve the level of omniscience, your motivation must correspond to that. For that reason, no matter what practice we are doing, before we do any practice, we need to recast our motivation. We need to check, what is our motivation? Is it pure or not? Is it pure? If it is not pure, we need to change it into a pure motivation that matches the Dharma. For example, if we are practicing Mahayana Dharma, our motivation should match the Mahayana. If we are practicing the foundation vehicle, then it should match that. If we are practicing secret mantra, it should match that. That is the way we should think and plan. If it is otherwise, then the Dharma will not really be the Dharma. The external appearance may be that we seem to be practicing the Dharma, but actually, ultimately, the Dharma will not become the Dharma. So it depends on how we think and what our motivations are. In particular, when we are reciting the approach and counting mantras, our minds should not wander off to anything else. We need to direct our minds at that point and focus our awareness on the practice that we are doing at that time. This is crucial. If we don't, and instead recite the mantra with our mouths while other thoughts go to other things in our mind, our mouths and minds will be out of harmony, so there won't be much power to the recitation. So the main thing is that in practicing the Dharma, from one perspective, the attitude of our body and speech may well be very important, but the main thing is changing our own mind. It is crucial to see whether or not we are making any changes inside ourselves. If we are unable to make any changes within ourselves, then no matter how much we change, how much change we might affect on the outside, it is difficult to ever make any difference deep down. So for that reason, if someone needs to make a fundamental change within themselves, they absolutely must look inside themselves. Think about their basic motivations that they have, and change that motivation, the way they think, and their character. So Dharma practitioners should always be checking their own minds. They need to focus on their own minds and watch and guide them. Is this okay or is it not? Is this proper or not? So we need to repeatedly take care of our own minds. So this is actually crucially important for a Dharma practitioner. So this is the mantra recitation, the way you should think when you're reciting the mantra. So that completes the third section, the recitation of the mantra. The fourth section is the concluding ritual, the application. So the application means that above we have been imagining, everything we have been imagining above then dissolves into emptiness or disappears into emptiness, and then we rest in equipoise within that nature. Then when we arise from that and imagine that once again all appearances are clear and vivid, bright. So it's like all these appearances arise anew. And when those new appearances arise, these are pure appearances. They aren't the ordinary appearances of earth, mountain, rocks, and so forth that normally seem to us as if they truly exist. Instead, they are appearance emptiness, like a moon reflected in the water. All forms are the form of Noble Avalokiteshvara. All sounds are the mantra of Noble Avalokiteshvara, the melody of the 6 syllables. And all thoughts are the mind of Noble Avalokiteshvara, indivisible awareness and emptiness. Or you could say the mind that is unmoving from within the nature of inseparable bliss and emptiness, the awareness and emptiness inseparable. This is how you should think. So whatever you are doing, standing, sitting, going, or pacing, you do not remain within ordinary appearances. Instead, you should train in pure appearances. So that is what this section is. And so then with everything imbued with pure appearance, you recite the text. The appearance of my own and others' bodies is the Arya's body. Sounds that resound are the melody of the 6 syllables. Thought and memory are the expanse of great wisdom. Now this says that we should visualize all forms as the body of Avalokiteshvara and visualize all things as Avalokiteshvara, but I think actually that is a bit difficult. Instead, it's as I said before, all the forms that appear are like the way we specifically meditated on the form of Noble Avalokiteshvara as appearing while empty and empty while appearing. Just as we imagine the body of Noble Avalokiteshvara to be that, everything that appears as form is like Noble Avalokiteshvara, similar to a moon and water. We meditate that it has the character of being empty while appearing and appearing while empty. Similarly, it says, sounds that resound are the melody of the 6 syllables. Sometimes it might be a bit strange to think that all sounds are the sound of the 6 syllables, but the point is that ultimately any sound, whether the melody of the 6 syllables is an ordinary sound, it is not as if the ordinary sound is inferior and the melody of the 6 syllables superior. All sounds are inseparable or resounding emptiness. As sounds resound, they are empty. While empty, they resound. In that respect, they are all the same. For this reason, we imagine within the inseparability of resounding emptiness, they are inseparable from the 6 syllables of Noble Avalokiteshvara in essence. This doesn't mean that everything you hear in your ears is like always having Om Mani Padme Hum always going along in your ears. That would be a bit strange. Likewise, all thoughts and memories are similar. We think of many different things, and all those thoughts also have the nature of empty. They're also thought while being empty, and while being empty, they are thought. They do not transcend such a nature. If we can embrace everything with that kind of awareness, with that kind of mindfulness, awareness, and carefulness, if we can embrace emptiness with our mindfulness and awareness, that would be enough. So here, the most important thing is that we think in this way. It doesn't mean that we need to insist on meditating that all the things that we see are the body of love. Avalokiteshvara insist that we hear all sounds as Om Mani Padme Hum. It doesn't mean that we really insist that it's really like that. I doubt it means that. So this is something we do need to keep in mind. So this completes the entire conclusion, the applications. Next is the 5th, the dedicating the virtue to enlightenment. Now, dedicating the virtue to enlightenment is the stanza in the text of the sadhana. By this merit may I swiftly accomplish noble Chenrezig. May I bring every sentient being, not one left out, into that state. What this means is that we dedicate the virtue we have just accumulated foremost among all the virtue in our being, for the sake of all our mothers, all sentient beings. May they all swiftly achieve the state of Noble Avalokiteshvara, and may all sentient beings throughout space become the same as Noble Avalokiteshvara. So this is thinking, may I gain the ability to bring them all to the state of Noble Avalokiteshvara. This is what we should think. So now at this point, we can do this and any other aspiration. It really doesn't make a difference. There's no basically definite aspirations that you must or must not do. It's not definite about one or the other. Anyways, normally in our lives, we work hard. We put energy into seeing whether we can practice some Dharma. Can we become a Mahayana practitioner? Can we become a bodhisattva? We put energy into it. But because of the thick imprints of the afflictions, the dense gloom of ignorance within us, it never works out as we wished. We always end up defeated. Gaining a victory is almost always very difficult. So for this reason, when we practice Dharma, we initially want to turn out well. We have some excitement at first. But when we practice the Dharma and look to see whether it is actually turning out as the Dharma, it's really difficult. At first, it seems like we can do it. But when we actually practice it, it is even more difficult than we thought. So for that reason, people might think, this isn't working for me, I can't do it. For someone like me, it seems easy when explained in the text, but it's actually really difficult. I can't practice like that. This is for people with higher realization, people with higher capacities than me. So we might think in this way, but But I think that when feelings like that occur, it's not a problem, actually. Usually when I am trying to do something, sometimes I have little victories and sometimes little defeats. This is just the way things work. But when we're practicing the Dharma, what I think is the most important is having really stable confidence in yourself. No matter how many defeats occur, you must have the courage and confidence to still think, I am going to gain victory. I am going to come out on top of this. What I think is that no matter how many mistakes, you shouldn't think to yourself, you shouldn't get discouraged and think, I mucked up. That's not right. I'm giving up. There's no reason to be discouraged. And the reason is that we've been accumulating mistakes from samsara without beginning. It isn't only this lifetime that we have been making mistakes. So we've been piling up the mistakes from beginningless samsara. Just merely making a mistake is not a defeat that should discourage us. Instead, when we've made a mistake, we should therefore increase our resolve even further. We are accumulating more mistakes, but as we do so, we can still gain a victory, right? The fact that we are making mistakes is, from one perspective, a sign that we are trying. If we weren't trying, we'd never even make any mistakes. If you weren't trying, you'd never make any mistakes while doing anything. So making little mistakes is a sign that you are on the path, a sign that you are putting effort into it. Now, for this reason, when we make some small mistakes, even when we think that didn't go well, we must not get discouraged. This is very important. In particular, what many people do, the way I see it, is to get overly dependent upon the person whom they believe in, their guru or a spiritual member, whomever that might be. They pin their hope and belief on that person. But when they do something that doesn't quite match their wishes or their understanding, then their confidence or their belief immediately changes. Now, generally, it is very important to have confidence and trust in the guru, the spiritual friend. But does this mean that we place all the reasons for this confidence and trust in the guru, that we put the responsibility for it onto the guru and make no efforts ourselves? It doesn't mean that at all. The reason why we entrust responsibility to the guru is that we believe in the guru. Because of that, we try and see whether we can practice the Dharma instructions that they give. Even if we practice them, if we don't get a result from the practice, there are reasons why, even though we believe in the guru. So even when the guru tells us how to practice the Dharma, most of us do not practice the Dharma properly. Then when something doesn't match our expectations occurs, we say that the guru isn't good for anything, that we don't believe them. This is what happens, right? And I don't think that that is right. So I don't think that is right. The way we should understand having belief and trust in the guru is that just as we believe and trust in the guru, when they give an instruction that is in accord with the Dharma, we need to practice that instruction ourselves. We need to see how much we can put it into effect in our lives. I think this is what's so really important. So basically, before we can believe in someone else, first we have to believe in ourselves. If we lack belief in ourselves and usually doubt ourselves, if we lack confidence in ourselves, we will never find belief in anyone else. We haven't gained belief in ourselves, and unless we find that, we won't find belief in anyone else. So this is the situation that usually occurs, and it is very important to think about this. For example, with me, it seems many people think he's the Karmapa. He's been given the title of Karmapa. So therefore, he can't ever have any problems. The Karmapa never has any problems. He always accomplishes what he wants to do. He never has any problems or difficulties in his mind. He never has any suffering in his mind. So many people think that it's like this way, and from one perspective, the Karmapa has been here for hundreds of years, so when we say he is an important or a great person, then it's like eventually the Karmapa becomes someone who transcends humanness and is like some sort of a god. But that, the way it really is with me, is I'm just a human being. I'm a regular person, but I've been given a huge responsibility. I've been given a great title. And so it's different from me than other people, is that I've been given a big responsibility and a big title. And since I've been given a big responsibility and a big title, that responsibility and title is something that other people find extremely sacred and superhuman. But if a person, had to do superhuman work, it would be really hard. So that's how I feel. I have the faults that all humans do. And especially I have experienced many difficulties in this life that many other people never have to face. There are many situations that most people never face that I do. This is because many people worry about me, and in many different environments and social situations, I'm the center of attention. Because of that, many of the difficulties and problems I face are ones that most people never experience in their lives. For this reason, for me, if I wanted to tell anyone about the difficulties I face, so most people have someone they can talk to about the problems that they face, like they can talk to their friends or parents or the like, but I don't have anyone to talk to. This is because there is no one else with work like mine. There's no one whose situation is like me. And so no matter whom I tried to tell, I couldn't talk to them about it. So whether as other people believe it or not, I do have difficulties as big as Mount Meru. And when they occur, I don't have any superhuman qualities that other people think I do. In addition, I'm supposed to be superhuman, so that brings many difficulties in other situations which make it even harder. But what I think is that whether it'll turn out as other people say or other people hope, I need to do as much as I can. If someone were to say tomorrow, you aren't what we hoped you would be, you're some second-rate person, by pretending to be that great being, you've deceived us, then it wouldn't make any difference to me. And the reason is because I have made mistakes. And I have also made as much effort as I can. But no matter how much I try, I understand that it is difficult to live up to other people's expectations. In any case, I haven't really practiced Dharma very well, but I have studied quite a lot for a long time. From all that study, what I think is that no matter how difficult it may be, it doesn't matter how hard it is or how many problems there are. but having love for all sentient beings. And doing something to benefit other beings in all my lifetimes is something that I need to continue to do as best I can. It is not like I think, I have this fault, so there's no way I can do that. Since I'm lacking in some way, I can't do anything to benefit other beings. Likewise, it is the same for you. Just as with me, you can't say it is only me who has such great suffering. No one else has any suffering. Everyone has various sufferings regardless of their size. Having suffering, having those difficulties, having faults, and not being able to increase our qualities are not reasons for us to get discouraged. We must continue to try. When we encounter one effort, we need to make double efforts. When we encounter one defeat, we need to make double efforts. When we encounter 10 defeats, we must make 20 times the effort. If we can do that, then one day we will become victorious over all directions and become able to bring benefit to ourselves and others. So I'd like to ask you, please all keep that in mind. So we will please leave it here this morning and continue in the afternoon.